The war had been going on for 17 years, 17 long and bloody years. The galaxy was burning, and nobody could stop it. The Vithia Dominion was winning. They were a species of insect-like creatures, tall and strong, with hard shells covering their bodies, and claws that could cut through metal. They had no mercy, no concept of peace, only the instinct to take, destroy, and kill. One by one the great civilizations of the galaxy fell. The Cathy lost half their empire in 5 years. The Salvani watched their ancient homeworld burn. The Maureen, once masters of trade, became wandering refugees. The Galactic Coalition was formed, 12 species uniting their armies and fleets, but, even together, they were not enough. The VTH were endless, fearless, and ruthless. Coalition hope faded battle by battle, until even their strongest leaders began to lose faith. Ambassador Telesver, an old Karathi, with silvered scales, stood in the great hall of Nexus Prime, among representatives who looked tired, defeated, and afraid. "We must ask the humans," he insisted. But the Salvani Chancellor reminded him that humanity's neutrality doctrine was absolute. They would not interfere unless attacked. Far away on Earth, Admiral Daniel Hayes watched the war unfold across distant stars. He and Captain Laura Griffin knew the truth: if the VTH conquered the Coalition, humanity would be next. But doctrine held them in place. Humanity stayed quiet, hidden, waiting, until the colony on Kepler 442b died. 5 the 5th scout ships attacked the small mining settlement, and in 6 hours killed all 3,000 civilians. Commander Crix recorded a message, mocking humanity, calling them cowards, daring them to fight. When the transmission reached Earth, silence filled the Situation Room. President Catherine Cole stood shaking as she watched children and families slaughtered. The neutrality doctrine was broken. Earth had been attacked. "We are at war," she declared. Hours later, the 7th Fleet prepared to launch. Captain Ryan Bennett of the USS Valiant addressed his 42 ships not for glory but for justice. Their first target, the Kethra system, main staging ground of the VTH Dominion. Supreme Warlord VAs prepared 800 warships to crush the humans, mocking the idea that 42 vessels could threaten them. But when the battle began, nothing went as the VTH expected. Their weapons did nothing against human shields. The Cascade Field shattered their fleet coordination. 800 warships became 800 blind hulks. Then the humans attacked like ghosts, faster, sharper, deadlier than anything in galactic history. Plasma cannons sliced through armor. Missiles multiplied in mid-flight. Railguns tore ships apart before the VTH even saw them. In 43 minutes, it was over. 612, the 5th warships destroyed. 0 human losses. The galaxy trembled. On Nexus Prime, for the first time in years, the Coalition felt hope. In the D5th Hive, the High Queen felt fear. The humans were not weak. They were monsters cloaked in silence for 2 centuries. The VTH recalled all fleets to protect their home world. But even their generals did not know if 2,000 ships would be enough, because the human fleet was coming fast. Captain Bennett stood on the bridge of the Valiant as stars blurred by, system after system surrendering. Humanity had entered the war, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The human fleet carved through VTH space like a storm-given form, silent and unstoppable, leaving only wreckage and terrified survivors in its wake. Captain Ryan Bennett stood unmoving on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic map where system after system turned from VTH red to human blue. Commander Nicole Tran monitored the fleet status with calm precision. Their ships had taken minimal damage, despite facing countless enemy vessels. It was not a war. It was a dismantling. Every defense outpost, every defensive line, every fortress world that had once stood proudly as symbols of VTH dominance now crumbled before the relentless march of the 7th Fleet. In less than 2 hours, 12 systems fell. Entire, The 5th Battle Group surrendered, without firing a shot. Broadcasting desperate pleas for mercy, the humans did not answer. Not because they were cruel, but because they were focused. Their goal was simple. End the war. End it fast. End it completely. Deep inside the VTH home system, Supreme Warlord Vaes stood on the observation platform of the capital citadel. Before him, the skies were filled with thousands of VTH ships, gathering in tight defensive formations around the homeworld. War drums echoed across the hive cities. Soldiers flooded the streets, racing toward transports. The Queen herself had ordered a full mobilization. The entire species was preparing for the final battle. But Vaes felt no pride, no confidence, only dread. "They are coming," he whispered. "They cannot be reasoned with. They cannot be stopped. They are humans." His voice trembled. "And we have awakened something we were never meant to face." Thorvek, commander of the Home Defense Fleet, approached him. "Our scouts report the human fleet will exit hyperspace in 40 seconds. Their numbers remain unchanged. 42 ships." Vaes stared at him. 42 against 2,000 of ours. It made no sense. It should have been a slaughter. Yet deep inside, Vaes knew the reverse was true. On the Valiant, Nicole counted down the final seconds. "Jump in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The stars stretched, the void twisted, and in a burst of blue-white light, the human fleet dropped into normal space at the edge of the VTH home system. Alarms blared across every the 5th warship. Their sensors lit up with readings that made no sense. Human energy signatures spiked far beyond anything their technology could measure. Their shield harmonics were unreadable. Their engines distorted space around them, bending it, warping it, ignoring every known law of physics. Thorvek stared at the readings with wide eyes. "This is impossible. These ships, they should not exist." In the heart of the Valiant, Nicole activated the cascade again. The quantum field rippled outward, invisible and silent. Vethia fleets shuddered as their systems faltered. Not as completely as before. The VTH had tried to harden their networks, but it did not matter. The disruption was enough. The 5th formations broke. Their targeting went blind. Their navigation faltered, and the humans moved. The 7th Fleet surged forward like a spear of light, weaving through the VTH armada. Human railguns fired slugs faster than the VTH sensors could register. Missiles bloomed into swarms of autonomous drones that tore through armor. Plasma beams sliced capital ships clean in half. Hundreds of the 5th warships exploded in the first minute alone. On the VTH capital, the Queen watched in horror as the sky turned into fire. Vitha ships fell burning into the atmosphere, crashing into cities and oceans. Her world, her hive was dying. But she was old, older than any living VTH, and she knew when a war was lost. "Summon the council," she said. "We must attempt communication, even if it costs us everything." In orbit, Vaes made his choice. His fleet was dying, no, being erased, and he would not allow his species to die without at least trying something. "Open a channel to the human flagship," he said. Now, the screen flickered. Captain Bennett appeared calm as ever. Behind him, the bridge crew worked with cold precision as another enemy vessel exploded in the distance. "Supreme Warlord VHS of the 5th Dominion requests negotiations," VHS said, forcing the words out. "Please." Bennett watched him silently for a moment. Then he nodded. "Very well. Transmit the terms." Vaes exhaled in relief. Anything to stop this slaughter. He cleared his throat. The 5th Dominion surrenders unconditionally. Our armies will withdraw from all occupied territories. We will dismantle our fleets. We will pay reparations. "We will." Bennett raised a hand. "I am afraid you misunderstand." Vaes froze. "The terms are not yours to offer," Bennett continued. "Humanity has only one demand. Leave this galaxy. Every VTH ship, every VTH hive, every the fifth soldier. You have 1 hour to begin evacuation. Varze stared, stunned. Leave the galaxy. That is impossible. We have thousands of worlds. Trillions of citizens. We cannot. Bennett's voice did not change. If you remain, you will die. All of you. Your hour begins now. The transmission ended. Silence fell over the VTH flagship. Vaz sank to his knees. For the first time in his life, he understood what true defeat felt like. Not surrender. Not retreat. Extinction. Humanity was offering them a final mercy. Leave or die. And Vras knew the truth. They had no choice. On the Valiant, Nicole looked at Bennett. Do you think they will run? Bennett watched a burning VTH dreadnought break apart on the screen. If they are smart, yes. If not, then we finish what they started. Behind them, the human fleet continued forward, toward the fifth homeworld. The war was almost over. But the galaxy? The galaxy had only just begun to realize what humanity truly was, and what they had become. The era of human neutrality was dead. The era of human dominion had begun.